Hey guys, Janet here today. I did have a request from one of my viewers to show like a flip through of some of the Mosaic Moments pages that I've made. My most recent scrapbook was this St. Kitts trip with my best friend, and some of the layouts are Mosaic Moments and some of them are not. But I'm going to go ahead and flip through and kind of talk about, like, this one's not. This one is a great example. So Mosaic Moments has these pattern books that you can buy. They have two of them right now that give you different ideas and even the measurements if you don't buy their basic die set, which I did end up buying, but not to start out with. To start out with, I bought a few packs of grid paper and well, it was only one book, now it's two. So I bought the first book. But I like it that it gives you so many different ideas on pages. And then they give you a sample how they did each one as well. So that is a really good tool to have. So they have volume 1 and 2. So sometimes I follow a pattern. And sometimes I just start laying my pictures out on the grid paper and kind of do my own thing, which is kind of what I did here. I had a certain amount of pictures that I wanted to showcase, and then I kind of figured out how they would work on this grid, because sometimes the patterns in the pattern book just don't work out for what I need. One thing that's really cool about this system is one sheet of pattern paper, like this key paper here, will go a long way. Me and my friend both used this paper to make this same layout, and we still had some of the paper left. So overall, it's really cool for stretching out your pattern paper. The only downside of that is if you're like me and you have a huge hoarding of paper, you really don't mind using some of it up. So this is kind of just a little flip through of my album. Some of these pages are not Mosaic Moments, like these are not. This one is. Like, the grid system just really allows you to fit a lot of pictures into one layout. Like, I've got 7 pictures over here and another 6 over here. So I've got 13 pictures in this one layout, which is really awesome. They also have a grid template now where you can make any of your own pattern paper or cardstock into grid paper. So you don't even have to keep buying their grid paper if you don't want to, which is really cool. Like, I love that they did that, because I've got a lot of cardstock myself and a lot of pattern paper that I'd like to use as well. So for a lot of the layouts in this book, I did not use a lot of the patterns in the book. For a lot of them, I ended up just kind of doing my own thing and just kind of basing it on what I needed to do. So like with these pictures, I knew I needed to have all of them in there, and then I still wanted some pattern paper, so I just found some ways to accent the layout with some pattern paper. Another idea here was just grid paper. Again, this one I think was an actual pattern from the book, and this one may have been too. So this layout might have been from one of the pattern books. Now this is an idea of their like fancier dies, like these dies that you can do all kinds of cool stuff with. I really, really like the dies. I wish I used them a little bit more than I do, because I've got a lot of great ones and I need to incorporate them in a little bit more. But I try to throw them in there whenever I get a chance. So you'll see, like, I try to keep it simple, because even though these are simple layouts, I think that using the grid formation, even if I'm not following a pattern, really just gives the pages a whole other look than what I would have normally had before. So none of my pages look the same. Like, none of these layouts are the same. They all incorporate a little bit of pattern paper and obviously cardstock for layers. But yeah, I mean, this is one of my favorite ones. This one is a die that creates a wave that you could only get like in their level up sequence that they did. But again, there are dies that do cool stuff like this, but you don't have to use them. They're kind of just decorative. Like this one here with the monkeys. That's a decorative die with circles and just kind of a way to fit your pictures in different ways. Like, obviously, I'm not doing a whole process video on how to do that, but Mosaic Moments does have videos on their YouTube channel of using some of these dies. Actually, a lot of their dies. So this is just a flip through of the book I just finished. Like, this is a scallop layering die to give these mats a little bit of an extra layer. So different things like that. So yeah, I mean, this is kind of just what I did. So I hope for the subscriber who was interested in seeing these, I hope this really helps you with what you were looking for. In a nutshell though, like I said, I keep it simple and I try to just make my pages look different, which does not take a lot of effort at all with this system. Like none of these are the same. Like I said, they're just all different. And I really like this layout and I like this die here. So, I mean, I love to incorporate some of the simpler dies. I do have some of their more complicated dies, but I don't use them near as much as some of the simpler dies. So now that I've had the system for about, I think I started buying it in 2020. But now that I've bought a lot of the dies, I mean, I think I've bought most of them at this point. The ones that I would recommend if you are just starting out would be the basic die bundle and the layering bundle. And if you go to their website, you'll see what that is. But it's a series of squares and rectangles, set A through E. You can cut this stuff out by using measurements with the grid paper. But what I really like about the dies is you can actually lay the dies on the pictures and get the part of the picture that you want. So like for this picture, I could center my die in the part of the picture to get both me and my friend in there and not have any issues. So it's really handy when you're doing smaller pictures too and you don't want the whole thing. So I would recommend the pattern books. I would recommend some grid paper to get started and maybe buying the template so you can make your own. You'll save a lot of money that way. And just the basic layering dies to start with. The basic and the layering. It's two different sets. And then kind of just build on that as you go with some of their more decorative dies. Like the circular ones and the cute ones like I had in here were just really nice basics to have. Here's an example of a complicated die. So this is complicated. Not complicated in the sense of doing it. It's not hard. It is time consuming, but sometimes it gives a cool effect. And if you actually lay these out in one of their patterns, like in the book, these lines will connect to make like diamond shapes. Mine aren't really making any kind of specific shape because I kind of just separated the dies to make them work for what I needed. But they do make cool designs on your pages. Mine just aren't making any kind of special design at the moment. But that's an example of one of the more advanced dies that I would not recommend starting with. This one here is called Whimsy. It's kind of got that scallop bracket look. That's an easy die to use. So, I mean, again, some of these are really easy to use. And in this layout, it would have been better if I probably used a pattern or a plain paper because this one blends in a lot with the green grass and also you don't even see the brackets as well. But I wanted to use that paper very badly for this botanical garden layout. So that's kind of just what happened. And this here is another example of one of their dies. And they actually have another book called Cutting Corners. It's one of their first specialty die books. I'm hoping they make more for all of the die families. But this book shows different layouts with this die set. So this is kind of like another die that's kind of the simple one to use. But again, I would just start with basic stuff. So that's the last page. Again, to the subscriber who really wanted to see something like this, I hope this was helpful for you. And I hope everybody else enjoyed it as well. See you in the next video. Bye.